too easily.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hines versus Wims Davis step forward.
Margaret Hines is suing hairstylist Valinda Wims Davis for burning her scalp during a hair treatment.
Ms. Hines, it is your claim that the defendant, due to negligence, burned your scalp during a hair process.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says that she did not and that she's got a counterclaim for slandering her business. What kind of process were you having done to your hair?
A curly perm.
Had you ever had that process done before?
Several times.
Had you ever had a reaction to the process before?
No, ma'am.
When did you have the process done at the defendant's salon?
It would have been the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which was, I want to say, the 24th.
Had you ever been to the salon before?
No.
What brought you to the salon?
We were in the area.
Who's we?
My husband and I. He works that way, and he needed a haircut. And so he went and had his haircut there. And so I thought, well, it's been a while since I had my hair done. She was very busy that Friday, so she said, I'll put you in at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I went back, and I had to wait till 3. And she done the perm.
When she did the perm, did you sense anything when she put the solution on you?
Not immediately when she put it on, but she was doing, there were several other heads that she was doing. They were wrapped up in eating leftover Thanksgiving that her brother warmed up in the microwave. They had the Auburn, Alabama game going.
No. You didn't start to feel any discomfort for how long?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, what's the normal time to have that process on your hair?
She said about 2 hours, probably not that long because I wanted big curls instead of small. My boys left, went out, came back 2 hours. I was there another hour to hour and 15 minutes, still in the chair, still with the chemicals. I informed her that my head was burning. She took the dryer off.
It was under a dryer?
I was under the dryer.
For 2 hours?
No, for about, I say about an hour and 20 minutes. And I kept telling her my head is on fire. So she turned the dryer off, pulled the cap back, and continued to go rinse another lady's hair out while I sat there with the chemicals still in the dryer chair.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I looked at her scalp. I neutralized. I asked her how she feels. She said, fine. I offered to give her part of her money back. She said, no, I'm fine. And she went on.
Part of my money.
No. The next thing I got was a subpoena on December 18th.
You burned her scalp.
I didn't neglect.
You burned her scalp.
Most homeowners draw a blank when asked what their home projects should cost. That's
Wims Davis burned her scalp during a hair treatment.
Do you have any photographs or any medical reports?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
Okay.
And I also have this evidence of my hair, Your Honor, where it came out, matted together.
Ms. Davis, the plaintiff had chemical burns of the scalp. I know that because the next day she was treated for those at urgent care. Do you understand? That happened at your salon.
No, Judge Judy,
no,
that did not happen. I know it. The paper says superficial burns, and superficial burns are the mildest burn that a person could get. If I had burned her hair, I would have noticed that there's no way that I would let a chemical stay on a person's hair more than the required time.
Ms. Davis,
I know what she got there.
She went twice. She went the day after your visit.
No, ma'am. She came to me on the 20th, Judge Judy. I have my evidence right here. I have my appointment where I wrote her appointment down. She did not come to me on the date that she said. She came to me on November 20th, which is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I don't work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday normally, but because it was a holiday, I worked that Tuesday because my family and I traveled to Charlotte.
Listen to me, you're talking too much.
Okay.
Is what you're telling me that this was not an appointment on Saturday?
No, exactly. When Yes, ma'am.
I want you to rethink. You said that this was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Is that when you went there?
I want to say I'm positive it is.
Okay.
Alabama,
Would you
Auburn
stand up, please?
Zone.
Your Honor, we went to the hair salon on Friday.
When did you have your hair cut?
I had my hair cut on that Friday.
The Friday after Thanksgiving?
Yes. And then Friday, I went and got my hair and my son's hair cut and she set the appointment for Saturday the next day.
Judge Judy, can I say something, please? Her husband said he came in on Friday, after Thanksgiving, the 23rd. He said she had an appointment the next day, which was the 24th. She only went to the urgent care center because when the subpoena that they sent me showed that she went to the urgent care center on the 26th. If her hair had been burnt so bad as she stated it, why did she wait? Even if she came in on the 24th, 2 days later, which is the 26th, that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I don't care if it makes sense to you or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Women get stronger and more resilient with age. So why can't our skin? Gold Bond Strength and Resilience. 84% saw improvement in skin texture in 5 days. Gold Bond.
Prevagen. You might take something for your heart, but do you take something for your brain? In clinical trials, Prevagen improved short-term memory. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
It's tough to quit smoking cold turkey. So justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I don't care if it makes sense to you. She had a chemical burn in her scalp, and it wasn't caused by anybody else who put that down. I don't have to, it's not show and tell.
Judge Judy, she came to me that 26th because she called me and said that my hair is burning. I said, we don't work on Mondays, but I said, I'll come in Monday. And she came in, I met her at the shop on Monday. I neutralized her hair, which is a solution that makes the chemical, if there's any chemical going on, the burn, it stops immediately. I looked at her scalp, I neutralized, I asked her how did she feel. She said, fine. I offered to give her part of her money back. She said, no, I'm fine. And she went on.
Part of my money.
No.
She went.
Don't speak to her.
Yes, ma'am.
And she went on. I came in, then I gave her a follow-up treatment to tell her if you're still burning, even though I didn't see any abrasion, any redness, or anything on her scalp. She went to the urgent care center that evening. I gave her a follow-up. She never came back. The next thing I got was a subpoena on December 18th.
You burned her scalp.
I didn't neglect.
You burned her scalp.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Judge Judy, I didn't burn her scalp.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A hot-headed boyfriend rages.
You don't get out of somebody's car unless you feel threatened.
Miss Corian said Jacob said he was going to kill me.
Judge Judy.
I called several times ago. What can I do? My hair is burning. Can I buy anything to stop it?
I have nothing to say.
No response. So I went to urgent care. Bottom line, that wasn't harassment. It was like, what can I do to stop this? Justice was served.
This is one of your two dogs. What's that box?
That's my dog that's deceased.
She puts the blame on the neighbor's pit bulls.
You could tell that they came through our fence.
Why didn't you fix the fence?
Because it wasn't my responsibility.
This is your fence.
Did bad decisions doom her pet?
Knowing what you knew, why in the world would you leave your dogs out for the day unsupervised? Not smart.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Rakisha Jones and her mother, Yvonne Sherrod, are suing neighbor Cherie Nunez Trammell and Cherie's landlord, Sun Nguyen, for vet bills after Cherie's pit bull got into their yard and attacked their dogs.
Order. All rise. It's case number 101 on the calendar, the matter of Jones Sherrod versus Nunez Trammell Nguyen.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Who's going to speak for the two of you? Your first name is?
Rakisha.
Rakisha, this is one of your two dogs.
Correct.
What's that box?
That's my dog that's deceased.
Was that a result of this incident?
Yes.
The defendants are your neighbors, and you and your mother were going out to a family event on May what?
5th.
And your other dog was also a small dog, like this one.
Correct.
The neighbors have larger dogs, and there is a double fence that separates both houses. One fence is yours, one fence is theirs. So far, am I right?
Yes.
For some reason, you left both dogs, that little one and the dog that didn't make it, you left them outside in the fenced yard while you were going out for the day.
Yes.
And you had a prior instance where in August of last year, you claimed that the defendant's dogs got out of their yard and got into your yard.
Yes.
Is that right? And you say, luckily, your dogs weren't in the yard at that time.
Correct. I saw the dog coming through, and I hurried up and got my dog out and put him in the house.
So now I want to ask you this question, without getting into whose fault this was and where the dogs were. Why in the world would you leave your dogs out for the day unsupervised on May 5th?
I just left them out while we go to the party.
I understand that. Knowing what you knew, that their dogs were capable of coming through or burrowing through the fence, because you had seen it before, why in the world would you leave your two little dogs out in the backyard?
Well, when it happened, it occurred, the dog pound guy came because we kept trying to get them to fix our fence. The dog pound came and he put a border to block the hole until they was able to come and fix the fence. So we thought it was okay. It's been 9 months. So I was like, okay, we can leave our dog out just during the day, not too long, while we go to this party, because we couldn't bring the dogs.
Not smart.
Okay.
But it's your claim that the defendant's dog burrowed through the gate or the fence, came into your yard and attacked your dogs.
Correct.
You weren't at home, correct?
Correct.
And your mother wasn't at home.
Correct.
The defendants say that your dogs burrowed through the gate and came into their yard, and they acknowledge that their dogs may have attacked your dogs when they came in, and then your dogs scurried back under the fence.
Okay.
That's what you say. So now I'd like to hear from a witness that you have to suggest to me that their dogs came through the fence and attacked your dogs on your property. Who's the witness?
Right here I have my neighbor, Carol.
You can sit down with the puppy. Okay. Your last name is?
Malaria.
Can you tell me how long you have been neighbors and where your houses are in relation to each other?
Okay, my house is facing her side house, and I can see her gate on the back and on the side and the front. My front door and everything is facing her side.
Well, this happened in the backyard.
Yes, I can see the backyard.
I have a map showing if you want to see it.
I do. And what time of the day did you witness anything involving the dogs?
I could say maybe around 5:36, around in that area.
Tell me what you observed.
Okay, I was on my way out, and I was getting ready to go pick up my daughter-in-law and her family. They were coming over, and as soon as I got out my front door and I walked towards my car, I heard all this commotion, and I kept hearing the dogs hollering and everything, and I looked over there.
Look at me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked over there, and I saw them beating the dog with a big board.
Beating what dog with a big board?
Their dog.
Who was beating their dog with a big board?
I couldn't see the person that was beating. All I saw was a stick in the air coming down and welling on the dogs, and the dogs were hollering by the fence on their property.
So somebody on the defendant's property, you just saw a stick up.
Yes.
As if she was hitting a dog on her property.
Yes.
And what else did you see?
That was like 2 or 3 times they used stick.
You didn't see what they hit?
No, but you can hear the dogs hollering.
Could you tell whether it was the sound of a big dog or a small dog?
Well, all I know is when they hit the dogs went to the fence, and I could see the fence move as the dogs hit the fence.
As they were hitting the dog?
Yes.
But you didn't see which dog they were hitting?
That's correct.
What did you see next?
And then all of a sudden, I heard the commotion going, and then I noticed that the dogs went over into her property, and I heard the dogs.
Which dogs went over to her property?
The defendant's dog.
The defendant's dogs went to whose property?
Her property.
To the plaintiff's property?
The plaintiff's property.
Tell me exactly what you saw.
The dogs went fast because all I saw was the dogs fighting. They were fighting, and you hear the dogs howling.
Just a second.
Okay.
Which dogs were fighting? Could you see which dogs were fighting?
I just saw a brown dog over there.
How large a brown dog?
I really don't remember.
It wasn't a small dog like this.
No.
Now, when you saw the brown dog, where was the dog when you first saw it?
In their property, in the plaintiff's yard.
So you actually saw the dog come
yes.
either through or under the fence?
Yes.
Did you see that? I don't want you to answer if you didn't see it. Did you see the dog come under the fence?
No, I just heard the commotion.
You said that from your house you can see their backyard.
Yes.
If you heard fighting, are you telling me you didn't see where the fighting was coming from? Because if you saw where the fighting was coming from, then you saw the dogs.
That's correct.
Well,
I
did you
didn't.
see the dogs? Be careful. Did you see the dogs or did you not see the dogs?
I didn't see the dogs fighting, but I just heard the commotion that they were doing, like they're fighting.
You heard a commotion?
Yes.
And you assumed that it was coming, so you never saw the brown dog come through the fence?
No.
And you never saw, or did you ever see, the 3 dogs in the defendant's backyard?
No.
You heard a commotion?
Yes.
And you saw somebody in the defendant's home apparently beating a dog with a piece of wood?
Yes.
You only saw the top of the piece of wood, but you heard the dog yelping?
Yes.
You can have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have pictures of the fence where you could tell that they came through our fence.
I'd like to take a look at them, because you do understand this witness did not see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a picture of the old and then the new, and then her dog in my backyard from August, chewing at the fence.
Whose fence is this?
That's my fence. That's from my backyard.
Whose fence is this?
My fence from my backyard. That's my fence, her dog in my backyard. Her dog in my backyard. Her
This
dog
is
in my
from
backyard.
August.
That's from August. The white pit is from August.
What I'd like you to show me is...
The dogs in the backyard?
No.
Go ahead.
You said you had proof to me that...
You could see the wood on my side, on the ground, as if it's bust through.
Well, that's from August.
No, the darker pictures are recent. The one with the white dogs is... The one with the white dog is from August. The other ones are all recent, from May.
Why didn't you fix the fence?
Because it wasn't my responsibility.
It's
I
your
kept trying.
fence.
I kept trying to contact her, but she was never around. We talked to the kids, and they're always like, "Oh, that's our mom's problem. That's our mom's problem. Our mom's going to come fix the fence." We can never get a hold of her.
This is your fence.
It's my fence, but it's not my responsibility. They kept saying she was going to come and fix it. That was just when my dog got killed, so I didn't fix it. The other one, with the white board.
I see it. That's a year ago. Why didn't you fix it?
We did. We put a white border across it.
What does that mean, a white border? Show me.
The dog couldn't. It's in the picture. In one of the old pictures, you can see the white border and then the hole of the new fence. The dog pound put a border there to keep them.
Give her a pen, please.
Let me show her the white thing. That's May. That's August. The dog pound put a border there for them to come and fix the fence. I have papers from the dog pound, too.
May I see it?
I have papers of her on Facebook saying, "How do you kill a dog twice?" I have papers of her on there the very next day after they killed my dog, that she's trying to get rid of her dog.
Just a second.
Because she knew their dogs killed my dog.
Okay. So this is a temporary patch from a year ago, and this is from where?
May.
This is from May. Okay. Now, I want you to raise your hand. Who was hitting the dog with a stick? Raise your hand. Anybody here? Well, then you have the wrong person. Who are you?
I'm her cousin.
Stand up. Go over there. What's your first name?
Sierra.
Were you in the house on May 5th?
I was.
Who was hitting the dog with a stick?
Nobody was hitting a dog. None of us would ever do that.
Who was home with you?
I was there with my little cousins and their older brother.
Where were they?
My cousin Cherie, she was at a family barbecue, and I do not know where he was at the time.
They're the dog's owners.
Cherie was two of the dog's
owners. Just a second. So you were the only adult at home?
Yes.
Good. Switch places. You were the only adult at home?
Yes.
Go.
I was there, and I was in the kitchen, and I heard it sounded like a scuffle. So I went to the window to see, and I saw two little dogs in the backyard. And our dog came, the white pit. He's very defensive of the yard. Okay. Well, they were fighting, and so I banged on the window to make him stop, and then the two little dogs ran back under the fence.
And the two little dogs ran under the fence, and then what did you do? No, don't look down. Here. What did you do?
I walked away because after that, Kane went, sniffed the fence, and walked away because they were no longer on the property.
You know that I don't believe that.
That's what happened, ma'am.
No, it's not what happened.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have small dogs, and I have a fenced yard, and I would never go away for the day and leave my small dogs unattended in the backyard. That's irresponsible. It's not what a good parent does. And when you have a small dog like that, you have to treat it like a parent.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Rakisha Jones and her mother, Yvonne Sherrod, say neighbor Cherie Nunez Trammell and her landlord, Sun Win, are responsible for a dog attack.
Now, how old are you?
I am 24.
So you're 24 years old, and you're there watching two little children because they're away.
Mm-hmm.
And you see one of their dogs, which is a white pit bull, fighting with two little dogs that weigh maybe 3 pounds on your property. And according to the papers that she filed, the pit bull was very territorial because there were puppies around.
Yes.
And so you see the two little dogs going under the fence, and you don't go out and check on it?
No, I did not.
Why not?
Well, after that, the dogs, they didn't do anything.
But you don't know that. One of the dogs died. So you don't know what happened. Well, so an intelligent person would go outside and see where that could possibly have happened. How did they get underneath the fence? Maybe the pit bull can get back under the fence. An intelligent person would do that.
But the hole on our side of the fence was way too small for him to get through. He was a very large dog.
Show me. Is this your fence?
Yeah, from the inside of the gate.
This is your fence. I'm not looking at this. This is the top of the fence. The dog didn't go over. Who cares about the top? You have any other pictures of the whole fence? I want to see a picture of the whole fence.
I do in here. I have the view from the witnesses' side also.
No.
And then I have
I can see from the witnesses' side. Listen to me. I can see from the witnesses' side that there's plenty of room on her fence for a large dog to get through. That doesn't mean that she didn't pull out this board. I know that. I have to see from your side whether there is room for your dog, which is the larger dog, to get through the fence.
You can kind of see through here. You can see how big it is on the other side of theirs.
I can't.
I have the other ones here.
I can't.
Maybe you can see on this one.
I'll take a look at it for.
You see their backyard with the trash can. That's from my backyard to theirs.
Is that where their trash can is over here?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I want to see. I want to see this area. Not this little tiny area. I want to see this area.
It's that one and that one.
Yeah. You have to take better care of your fence. I don't believe you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If their dog came into your yard, which I think it was probably trying to do, I don't know where the attack took place. You have to create a fence that keeps the dog inside. That piece of junk that you have there doesn't do it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Rakisha Jones and her mother, Yvonne Sherrod, have accused neighbor Cherie Nunez Trammell and her landlord, Sun Win, of being responsible for a dog attack.
Okay. I believe this. By the way, you did call her and let her know that there was some sort of kerfuffle with their dogs.
Yes, I called my daughter-in-law, and she got in touch with her.
You see, she couldn't fib to me. Well, this is a fib because she never saw the dogs in your backyard. Right? She heard, but she never saw the dogs in your backyard. But she immediately reported them to you. And there's no question in my mind that when this lady said she saw somebody beating that dog at the fence, it had to have been you.
It was not me.
Then maybe it was a ghost. If you were the only one home.
I was not the only one home, but I can assure you, though, ma'am,
if you were the only adult home, then it had to be you.
I would not do that, ma'am. I have my own little dog myself. I would never.
This is not a little dog.
I know it's not a little dog.
This is not a little dog. This is a white pit bull with puppies. That's a triple whammy. Can I see the vet bills, please? I don't want to hear from all you pit bull lovers out there. I don't care.
I have the vet bill and the police report and the dog pound. Those are just the cremation bills. The doctor felt sorry for Wednesday, my black dog right here, so he didn't charge us.
Listen to me. I think anybody that keeps pit bulls are crazy, okay? I also think that people that don't take care of their dogs are also irresponsible. You understand? I think it's totally irresponsible. I have small dogs, and I have a fenced yard, and I would never go away for the day. For 2 hours, for 3 hours, I'd leave my small dogs unattended in the backyard, especially knowing that my neighbor's pit bull has gotten into my yard before.
Yeah.
That's irresponsible. That's not what a good parent does. And when you have a small dog like that, you have to treat it like a parent, because it could be a pit bull, it could be a hawk, it could be anything. So you have to understand that part of it is your responsibility. If their dog came into your yard, which I think it was probably trying to do, I think your dogs were probably trying to burrow under. I don't know where the attack took place. I do know that they're responsible for the vet bills. You have a potentially vicious dog living with you. You have to create a fence that keeps the dog inside. That piece of junk that you have there doesn't do it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You want to keep those dogs? Get a chain link fence and keep them inside your house. You get it. Do you have homeowners insurance?
I do not. I have renter's insurance.
Do you have renter's insurance that includes your dog? Did the insurance company know that you have a pit bull?
No, because I was fostering them at the time.
She wasn't even supposed to have dogs, what her owner said. Oh.
You were fostering a dog for how long?
It was just a couple months.
You had the dog since August.
Actually, my son took it back at the first time that happened.
Get a chain link fence or get rid of the dog.
I rehomed him.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $250. We're done. Did you buy the dog, by the way?
Yeah.
Who did you buy the dog from?
We got it out of state in Kansas. He was flown to us.
Fine. How much did you pay for the dog?
$2,200.
You have proof of that for me?
I don't have proof, but I have papers of the value of the dog.
What kind of dog was it?
He was a toy Yorkie.
$2,450. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The neighbors found my dog.
My dogs wouldn't attack another dog that way.
If you have a vicious dog, tie it up.
I had to rehome my dog and the ones that I was fostering.
We got justice for our dog, and that's all that matters.
I'm just glad it's all over with.
The selfie she never wanted seen.
Why did you send a semi-nude picture of your wife to your ex-girlfriend?
Ms. Brown was making obscene remarks. Your wife is fat, she's ugly, and you're ashamed of her.
The logical response to that is, here's a naked picture of my wife. She's neither fat nor ugly. You got some bargain there. He sounds like a rocket scientist.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jeanette Brown is suing her ex-fiancé, Jimmy Thomas, for rent, a car down payment, and the return of property.
Order. All rise. It's case number 106 on the calendar, the matter Brown versus Thomas.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Brown, according to your complaint, you and Mr. Thomas were in a very long relationship and lived together for most of that time. That was about 4 years, is that right?
No, it's almost 5.
And then you broke up. He left you. He remarried within a very short period of time. You want a lot of things that you say he owes you. You had signed a lease. He moved out and he owed a couple of months' rent that you had to pay yourself. Also, you say you put down money on a car, $4,000.
Correct.
On a car that Mr. Thomas took when
Correct.
he left. Mr. Thomas says that while you were together, you purchased 2 cars as sort of a couple. Is that correct?
We purchased 3 cars, and one of the cars is in his sister's name, the Charger that he took. I gave him the choice because we purchased 2 cars with our name on it, and I told him he can take the car with a higher payment on it because I am a household of 1 income and he's a household with 2 incomes, and he told me no.
Ms. Brown, I'm not getting involved in that. Courts don't get involved in almost marrieds.
Correct.
I'm telling you, there is no court for almost marrieds.
When he left, he chose to leave both cars.
I don't care. You don't get money back. You live together as a couple.
Okay.
Okay. When you were living together in this most recent apartment, you signed a 1-year lease.
A house.
Is that correct?
Correct.
When does the lease terminate?
September 2018.
When did you leave, Mr. Thomas?
May 5th, Your Honor, of 2018.
When you were living together, were the 2 of you paying the bills?
I was paying majority of the bills.
I don't care. Majority? I don't care. Majority.
Okay.
Was she working?
Not at the time, no.
Oh, now, at what time?
At the time, no, she wasn't working when I was taking
At what time? I'm asking you. Put your hand down. At what time, Mr. Thomas, am I talking about? At what time was it?
During the month of January on to May 5th, till I decided to leave.
So from January until you left, she wasn't working?
No.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that's not correct.
Who were you working for from January until May?
In January, I was working... I was doing...
Listen, that's
I'm sorry, in January, I was on disability. February, I was on disability.
What's the nature of your disability?
I was out on medical leave for Empire Transportation. I lost my job in March for Empire Transportation and started working at Amazon. In April, I got hired through Adecco working for Pomona Valley Hospital. I've been working, and I've currently
Well, that's
been working.
April. That's April and May. Who paid the rent in February?
I did.
And he?
He was not working. He was on disability.
You know what? I don't care. Really. It's my life. It's my life. What was the nature of your disability?
My disability was my sciatica nerve in my back.
You had a bad back.
I have a bad back.
I have a bad back, too. You know, I've had a bad back for 30 years.
Yes.
You know what I do?
Of course.
Okay. I'm actually totally disinterested in whether you think he owes you rent or not. You lived together as a couple. You slept together. It was almost like you were married. I'm not separating your stuff. Now, the only thing that I am quite frankly interested in is on your counterclaim.
Yes.
And something that you said in your counterclaim.
Yes, Your Honor.
In your counterclaim, you say that Miss Brown posted a photograph of your now wife.
Yes, Your Honor. I have all the information. I have all the proof.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Was it a suggestive photograph?
She went on Facebook and got it. Yes, it was a very derogative
Just
picture.
a second. How did the picture get on Facebook? Put your hand down. How did the picture get on Facebook?
Well, my wife has pictures of herself on her page.
On her Facebook?
On her page. And Ms. Brown...
I'm sorry. I think he's confused of the other picture. She's just speaking of the picture that is my picture that...
Stand.
I apologize. The picture that you're speaking of, is it the picture that Ms. Brown herself personally discriminated me and posted of my body on Facebook?
Listen to me carefully. What kind of picture was it?
It was
you posted
a picture. She posted a picture of myself in a bra and panties.
Just a second. Did she make that?
No.
Stop. Just stop. Papers down. Did she make that picture up? Did she take a face of yours and put it on?
No. My husband had to have sent her the picture of me in some way for her to get it. Or
that
her
makes
to get it
you an idiot for taking the picture and him an idiot for sending her the picture, right?
Yes.
Once you took the picture and gave it to him and he, like an idiot, sent it to his ex-girlfriend for whatever reason, I couldn't imagine. Why did you send it to her? Take a deep breath before I say. Take a deep breath.
Right now,
take a deep breath. Why did you send a picture, a semi-nude picture of your wife to your ex-girlfriend?
Because at the time, Your Honor, Ms. Brown was making obscene remarks.
Just a second. What kind of obscene remarks?
Your wife is fat, she's ugly, you're ashamed of her.
Okay, so let me understand this. She said your wife is fat and ugly, and so you wanted to prove her wrong, so you sent a semi-nude picture of your wife to her and say, look, my wife is neither fat, ugly, or anything else. This is what I got. And now your counterclaim is that she's harassing you because she reposted that picture. Is this what I'm believing? Is this what I'm believing?
Yes, Your Honor.
You got some bargain there. He sounds like a rocket scientist. It's a logical reaction to somebody who is saying, I understand your wife is fat and ugly and whatever. And the logical response to that is, here's a naked picture of my wife. She's neither fat nor ugly.
Your Honor, it was after several times and attempts of days and weeks of Ms. Brown calling me fat and ugly and me being terrorized on behalf of it. So finally, he just decided to let her know that I wasn't and letting me.
Well, that's what he did. That's how he gave it to her. He gave it to her. He can't sue about it now. He sent her the picture, therefore it's no longer a confidential picture. He sent her the picture. She can make wanted posters out of it if she wants to.
So it's okay for her to place my name across social media and telling everybody?
Listen to me. It's not smart of a person, man or a woman, to take a photograph of themselves and say, you know what, I'm just going to send this to my best friend. What you have to say is, before you take a picture of yourself, even a picture of yourself in the mirror, you have to say, would I like to see this photograph in the top flap of the New York Times tomorrow morning? Would I like to see it plastered across USA Today? Is that where I want to see this picture? Do I want my grandmother to see it? Do I want my mother to see it? I don't understand why people do such stupid things. And I don't understand why you know you're not fat and you know you're not ugly. And your husband clearly knows the same thing. Why he has to impress his former girlfriend, who we walked out on, with the fact that he married somebody who was not fat and ugly, I don't know. When you should both know it. But you certainly have no basis for a lawsuit once you take the picture and he shares it with somebody else and she shares it with Bird, who would immediately erase it from his social media page, right? Absolutely. As I am erasing the memory of this case, your case is dismissed, as does your counterclaim.
He has 2 phones of mine.
Goodbye.
Please excuse. You may step out.
My reaction to Judge Judy's decision, it was awesome.
She's a deranged woman. She's vindictive.
Because it made my ex look like it.
Just very everything you can think of with her, so.
There's no future with a liar and a cheater.
I'm not a liar or a cheater, as you can see.
He didn't have enough nerve to tell me he was married to somebody else. He had his wife text me and tell me.
This is what it is. She got left.
I thought it was a joke. It still is a joke.
Deranged, like I said.
Not trust a cheater or a liar.
Wish her the best. Peace, just not with me.
And Berquist are suing the mother of Richard's children, Melissa Ackerman, for vandalizing his SUV and having him falsely arrested for assault.
Order. All rise.
This is case number 264 on the calendar in the matter of Berquist Gukin versus Ackerman. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Gukin, this is your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
And the only reason she's here is because she posted the bail for you when you were arrested as a result of a complaint filed by Miss Ackerman.
Yes, Your Honor.
She wasn't present during any altercation. She has no other first-hand knowledge of the events of that day.
No, Your Honor.
So stand as long as you can if you have to sit down.
Can I sit down?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Gukin, you and Miss Ackerman lived together for a long period of time, and you have children together. How many children do you have?
2, Your Honor, and
How
a
old are
stepdaughter. They are, my son just turned 8, and my daughter is 6.
How long have the two of you lived together?
Previously, we had been together for 5 years, and then there was a 5-year break in between, and then it was a year that we lived together until this altercation happened.
On what date was the altercation?
I believe it was the 22nd or the 23rd.
Of what?
Of September. Thank you.
This year?
Of this year, ma'am.
What time of the day?
It had started the night before. I came home after being out, just needed to get out of the house, and I asked her to unlock her phone because I had caught her cheating on me.
Let's go back. So on the 22nd in the evening, you left the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where did you go?
I didn't really go anywhere. I just drove around Federal Way.
Didn't go to a bar?
No, Your Honor.
Didn't drink?
No, Your Honor.
You left the house because you were arguing?
No, just to get out of the house. I'd been working all week, taking care of the kids at night, trying to keep up with the house as best I possibly can. Picked her up from work and just drove around Federal Way afterwards.
What time did you get home?
I believe it was maybe 1 in the morning.
Do you remember what time you got home on the 23rd?
It was like 1:30.
Okay. What happened when you got home?
She was drinking on the couch. I sat down next to her. I'd asked her to unlock her phone because...
Okay, you asked her to unlock her phone, and this is 1:30 in the morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So all of that sounds to me very stupid. You're out. It's 1:30 in the morning. You're not drinking. She's sitting on the couch drinking, 1:30 in the morning, and you want to go through her phone. Well, it doesn't sound very mature, does it? No. Well, it doesn't to me. Had you been drinking that night?
I had a drink after work, yes.
What time?
When I came home from work, it was like 11:15. The kids were in bed.
Who was babysitting for them?
Oh, he was.
So he was taking care of the children, and you get home from work at 11, and that's when he went out?
Yes.
Had you had an argument with him before he went out?
We argued a lot, but not immediately before. And no, he went to go hang out with a friend.
Okay, next.
She asked for her phone back. I said no. Then
So just a second. She asked for her phone back, which means you grabbed her phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you grab the phone out of her hand and you say unlock the phone and she says no, that's an argument.
Yes, Your Honor.
But it's already gotten a little physical. Okay, so what happened next?
After the argument had escalated, I tossed her phone down, didn't know where it went.
Tossed the phone on the floor. You tossed the phone on the floor.
No, Your Honor. I believe it was on our bed.
I thought she was on the couch. How did you get into the bedroom?
She had went down to the bedroom, and I had went down to my bedroom as well.
So she tried to get away from the argument by going into the bedroom.
Yes, Your Honor, and I was.
And you followed her.
Yes, Your Honor. I was going to go to bed. It is my room.
With
too.
her?
Yes, it is my room as well.
She don't want to sleep with you. You're being foolish. So far, Mr. Gukin, you're not in good shape with me. May change. You know, we go step by step, but it may change. Because what you're suing her for is for false arrest, and your mother had to pay $4,800 to get you out, and she's got a counterclaim for assault. We'll see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so far you're having a big domestic argument. You've been together for a very long time. You have 2 children, 8 and 6 years old. You went out just driving around for 2.5 hours. She had 1 drink after work. And you come home, and the only thing on your mind is unlocking her phone and looking to see who she's been talking to. She tries to get away by going downstairs to the bedroom. You could have stayed on the couch. You could have done a whole bunch of other things to de-escalate the situation. Instead, you followed her to the bedroom, and you threw her phone. You think it landed on the bed.
Yes, Your Honor, it was on the bed.
Now, when she asked you for the phone back, you clearly didn't give her her phone back because you still had it when you were walking from the living room where she was on the couch to the bedroom. So you kept her phone.
If you look at it that way, yeah.
What do you mean? If I'm listening to what you're telling me, I'm just putting it in an order that I understand. So now the phone is thrown on the bed. And next?
I tried to leave the house to de-escalate the situation.
Just a second. So you threw the phone on the bed, and then you left the bedroom.
Yes, Your Honor. She obviously thought I still had my cell phone.
Don't tell me. Obviously, I don't want to hear what she thought. You're trying to leave the house. And?
She then came outside, slashed 1 tire on my vehicle.
Just a second. So you were outside?
Yes.
And she came outside and used what to slash a tire?
I believe she used a pair of scissors to puncture the tire. And then
so she
to the
was
other
trying
side.
to prevent you from leaving probably with her phone.
Yes, Your Honor, but I did not have her phone.
Next.
As not trying to leave her without a vehicle, I slept on the couch that night.
Okay, so now you have a slashed tire. You're not going to change the what?
Slashed tires, 2 of them.
So 2. So you went inside to go to sleep.
Yes, Your
Had you
Honor.
been shouting at each other?
There was a little bit of shouting, yes.
And your children were where?
In the bedroom, asleep. As I tried to de-escalate the situation, I did wake up my children to then take my Yukon, or our Yukon at the time, over to my sister's house to let everything de-escalate.
Just a second. What time did you wake up your children to take them to your sister's house?
It was about 1:30.
In the morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why didn't you leave them home with their mother?
Because she was drunk, Your Honor.
Then what happened?
It got worse, and then I just put the kids back to bed, and...
What do you mean? You woke them up to take them out, and how did it get worse?
She would not let me leave with my kids. She pulled on my shirt, ripped my shirt off of me. I then put my children down and said, I'll just sleep on the couch. Went to sleep on the couch, woke up the next morning, went and bought a pack of cigarettes, came back to do the dishes, and everything escalated again.
What do you mean it escalated again?
Came outside, asked her to please get out of my vehicle. She would not get out of my vehicle.
What vehicle was that? The one with the slashed tires or the other one?
No, Your Honor, it is my 97 GMC Yukon.
And what happened?
She would not let me leave with my children.
Leave with your children?
Yeah, after...
Just a second. So you were going to leave again. Now you had both slept, and you woke up, and you wanted to take the children. What time?
This was probably about 10 in the morning.
And where were you going to take your children?
Over to my sister's house where they like to go.
But you had been fighting with her before.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why didn't you just get in the Yukon and go to your sister's house if you wanted to?
Because I wanted to have a nice day with my children.
Well, you're going to have a nice day with your children. That sounds stupid. I'm going to get her take on it, and then I'm going to tell you, I'll probably tell you both goodbye. You had a bad fight and a bad night. Probably isn't the first time that you had a bad fight and a bad night.
You're probably right.
Right.
More than likely.
Right.
And
okay, so you tried to take your children again, and
she was freaking out, yelling, screaming, making my children freak out, thinking something's extremely wrong.
So you were acting ridiculous.
I tried to
You wanted to take your children out to have a nice day, and that was the precursor to it being a nice day was screaming and yelling between you and their mother. That was the precursor to having a nice day. Something wrong with the two of you. You get where I'm going?
I think he was just trying to leave the situation and let it all chill out.
Yeah. If he wanted to leave the situation, he could have left the situation by himself. He could have called an Uber and taken himself over to his sister's house if he wanted to just get himself away from the situation.
I also did not want to leave my children with a alcoholic mother.
Just a second. The woman that you talk about, that you've lived with and made 2 children with, wasn't drinking in the morning. She was sober. You were sober at 10 o'clock in the morning. The fight just escalated, and now you want to have a nice day with your sister and your 2 children, so in between the screaming match, you try to take them into the Yukon.
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened next?
She would not let me leave. I please asked her to back away from the vehicle. She was outside screaming, freaking out. I tried to maintain...
Freaking out? What does that mean, freaking out?
Thinking that I was going to leave and never bring my children back. That's something I would never do.
Where are the children now? Do they live with their mother or do they live with you?
They live with their mother now.
And was that a court-ordered decision?
Yes, it was.
Did you have a hearing about that?
We had a protection hearing about that. Yes.
Okay. And Miss Ackerman works from when to when?
It was from 5 to 10 o'clock at night.
Where?
Lowe's.
Where do you work?
Swissport Fueling. I work at the airport.
From when to when?
From 6 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that gives you very little time to get on each other's nerves. At what point were the police called on the 23rd?
I'm assuming after I left. After I'd been pepper sprayed, where she discharged.
Just a second. Did you take the children with you?
No. I was at this point done fighting, and I was just done.
So you left the children?
I left the premise.
When did she put pepper spray on your face?
When I was trying to ask her to please get out of my vehicle, she then discharged a can of pepper spray in the vehicle where her youngest daughter was at as well.
Her youngest daughter is not your child?
No, she, at that time, was my stepdaughter.
She's not a stepdaughter, sir. No. She's not a stepdaughter because you're not married, so she can't be a stepdaughter. And how old is that child?
She's 3 and calls me daddy.
I don't care if she's 3 and calls you I'm late for dinner. She's not your stepchild.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When somebody says to me after work, they sat down and they had a drink, I don't buy it. And do I think that he was just driving around from 11 o'clock until 1:30 in the morning? Yeah, I'm having my bat mitzvah next year.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Gookin says the mother of his children, Melissa Ackerman, vandalized his SUV and had him falsely arrested for assault. Melissa is countersuing for destruction of property and assault.
Now, were your 2 children in the car as well?
No, Your Honor.
So you were only taking the 3-year-old?
No, Your Honor. My other 2 children had gotten out of the car, and she had climbed in the car. She knows how to climb into my car.
Go. You called the police because?
I called the police on the 23rd because he was assaulting me.
Tell me how he was assaulting you.
I was going into the vehicle to pull out important things in case he did leave. I had birth certificates. I had my lease agreement.
Just a second. You had? Hold on. You know, if something doesn't make sense to me, it may be that it's true. But you'll never convince me that somebody leaves their children's birth certificates, their lease agreements, and all this stuff in a car when they have a house that they've been living in for a while, where you have your 3 children, unless you were planning on leaving and taking the children with you along with those documents. There would have been no reason for those documents to be in the car. You want to try to convince me why the birth certificates and your lease agreement were in the car?
They were all in there from registration for school. I just hadn't removed them yet.
Oh, good answer. I don't buy it. Keep going.
So I was cleaning up the car, essentially. I was getting everything of our stuff out of it in case he did leave. And he came out and he assumed that I was looking for my cell phone.
Don't tell me what he assumed.
No, he was saying, your phone isn't in here. Your phone isn't in here. It's like, I'm not looking for that. I'm just getting our stuff. So I was pulling stuff. He was pulling it out of my hands and he was throwing it on the road. He's telling me to get out of his truck. I'm like, I'm just getting our stuff. He starts pulling on my legs. He's pulling my slippers off. My pants are coming half off, and I am kicking him and telling him, get off of me, get off of me. And he's crawling in on top of me, and he's opening up the car door behind my head. And this is a Yukon. The seat is pretty high. He's pushing me out the other way, face first, and I'm trying not to hit the ground. And I'm grabbing onto the seat, and I'm trying to pull myself back into the car. And I'm pulling out my pepper spray out of my pocket at the same time because I knew from the night before that things could get bad. So I was pulling it out of my pocket, and I sprayed him in the side of the face, and he wiped it off the side of his face and wiped it down my face. And I was calling for my son to help me get inside the house because I couldn't see. So Peyton tries to help me into the house so I can wash my eyes out. And he takes me to the bathroom. Richard is standing in the doorway, and he said, it hurts, don't it? And I let go of Peyton's hand, and I feel my way into the kitchen instead. And I'm starting to wash out my eyes. And I could hear my daughter next to me. Mama, what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, I'm washing out my eyes. And he comes up next to me, and he pushes me out of the way and says he needs to wash off the side of his face, which pushes me into my daughter, which pushes her into the wall. And she starts crying, and I squat down. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this. It's a dream. It's all a dream. I'm so sorry. And he goes, and I can hear Peyton screaming, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I go outside, and he's trying to load Peyton into the car. I'm taking him with him, and Peyton doesn't want to go. He's kicking and he's screaming. So I run out there, and he throws it in the back seat, and he's trying to hop into the front seat, and the door is still open. And I'm banging on the back door. He keeps hitting the button to lock the door. So I can't open it unless Peyton physically hits the button.
How many children are in the car at that point?
At that point, one.
Which child is in the car?
Peyton.
Peyton is how old?
8.
Go ahead.
And I get it open eventually between clicks. And I grab Peyton and I pull him out of the car. And he goes inside. And then Richard grabs Bailey and tries to put Bailey in the car. And the same thing happens all over again. And Richard hops out of the car and he shoves me against the neighbor's van and says, now you can tell them I put hands on you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The assault was that he took pepper spray from his face and put it on your face. How did pepper spray get on his face?
I was trying to get him
No,
off
just a
me and I
second.
sprayed him.
No, the pepper spray got on his face because you sprayed him with a pepper spray.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Richard Gookin and his mother, Vivian Berquist, have accused the mother of Richard's children, Melissa Ackerman, of vandalizing his SUV and having him falsely arrested. Melissa has a countersuit for destruction of property and assault.
Okay. Did he leave?
Kind of. He went into the house first.
He went into the house first?
While I was calling the cops.
And he went into the house for what?
Your Honor, I was going to grab clothes.
Did you grab clothes?
No.
What happened?
I just decided the best result is just to leave, let everything calm down.
So you left?
Yes, Your Honor.
And where did you go?
I went over to my mother's house.
And then where did you and your mother go?
After that, we returned to the house.
Her house?
No, mine and Mrs. Ackerman's house, so I can get my stuff for work, so I can go to work the next day.
What time?
12:30-ish.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, may I speak freely, please? I had asked my kids if they had wanted to go. They had said yes.
Listen, I find the whole behavior of both of you in front of these children outrageous.
You were correct,
It was
Your Honor.
outrageous. It was outrageous for you to grab her phone. And the fact that Miss Ackerman got pepper spray on her face wouldn't have happened if she hadn't had pepper spray in her pocket and tried to spray you. So that's actually what happened. And what's terribly offensive is that all this happened in front of 3 children, screaming and yelling and pulling and pushing.
I never pushed her, Your Honor.
Listen, let me tell you what you told me that you did. You told me that you grabbed her phone.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
told me that you kept her phone. You told me that she tried to de-escalate the situation by going into the bedroom, and you told me that you followed her into the bedroom
Yes, Your Honor.
and threw her phone on the bed. That's what you told me. Okay? And that's your own version of it, very quiet, in a very quiet voice, but that's your own version of it. That doesn't make you a prince.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Miss Ackerman, I'm going to tell you that I think that you were loaded. When somebody says to me after work they sat down and they had a drink, I don't buy it.
I was watching movies on my phone.
I don't buy it. And do I think that he was just driving around from 11 o'clock until 1:30 in the morning? Yeah. I'm having my bat mitzvah next year.
All right.
So you're suing her because she called the police. Police came and arrested you, and your mother had to bail you out of jail. What happened with that case?
They declined to press charges.
Okay. After things sort of quieted down and he slept there the night before, you didn't call the police.
I didn't call. I gave up. And I regret it, but I gave up the night before.
No, I'm just asking you. You have to understand, I think that this whole entire incident was absolutely outrageous between the two of you.
It was.
Outrageous. Okay, now, you got busted. If your mother bailed you out, terrific. If she didn't bail you out, you would have spent some time there. Next time, don't take her phone. Now, we're going to get to the assault. Do you have medical records from this assault? No. And the assault was, if I read this and if I listened to you, the assault was that he took pepper spray from his face and put it on your face. How did the pepper spray get on his face?
I was trying to get him
No,
off
just a
and I
second.
sprayed him.
No, the pepper spray got on his face because you sprayed him with a pepper spray. Now, when was the last time you saw your children?
It will be 2 weeks ago.
Where did you see them?
My sister had picked them up for me.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Okay, good. Your case is dismissed, as is your countersuit. We're done. Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I didn't do anything. I mean, this is the mother of my children. I've never hurt her.
He's been making my life difficult for the last 10 years.
Because she had cheated on me previously.
He wants to project because he knows that he's done wrong for the last 10 years.
That in the end, we can all just work this out, get along.
He doesn't do anything for them. He acts like he does, but he doesn't.
The truth will set you free.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gonzalez versus Craven. Step forward.
Andrea Gonzalez is suing family friend, 24-year-old Casey Craven, for several unpaid loans.
Miss Craven, how long have you known Miss Gonzalez?
Roughly 6 years.
How do you know her?
She's like a family friend.
How old are you?
24.
And I gather from reading these papers, she's been very nice to you.
Yes.
Both emotionally supportive and financially supportive.
Yes.
You don't live with her?
No.
Who do you live with?
Myself.
Do you work?
Yes.
Full time?
Yes.
Do you have any kids?
One on the way.
And where is that child's father?
He's with me.
So you live together?
Yes.
Does he work?
Yes.
You ran into some financial difficulty?
Yes.
When?
I ran into some financial difficulty in May.
Of this year?
2018, yes.
What was the financial difficulty?
My hours had got cut back in May, and I had called Andrea and was just venting to her, letting her know, you know, my hours had gotten cut back. I don't know how I'm going to pay my insurance. I was just venting to her, and she told me she would call me back. She called me back and told me, don't worry about it. I already paid it for you. That was the first thing.
Well, tell me how that was accomplished.
She immediately asked for my policy number.
Okay, of course, we have to have all that information.
Yes.
So it didn't come as a total surprise to you. There was a discussion, and the discussion had to do with the insurance. And you gave her your policy number and how much the amount was. So I want to hear that part of the conversation.
Okay, so I was venting to her about how I couldn't pay for my car insurance. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. My hours got cut back.
Was the boyfriend living with you at the time?
No.
When did the boyfriend move in?
July.
Why did he move in with you?
We started dating. I found out I was pregnant, so he moved in with me.
We're going to go back to the conversation.
Yes.
Don't know how I'm going to pay my insurance. Go ahead.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I was just venting to her.
I used the word venting 9 times already.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You hit somebody's car and took off.
I panicked.
Panic. I'd be panicked at 24 years old if I needed somebody else to pay my car insurance and I was pregnant. Not when I backed up and dinged somebody's car. That wouldn't give me a canary.
We'll Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Andrea Gonzalez says family friend Casey Craven has received several loans from her and has yet to pay the money back.
Okay, at some point,
Yes.
you gave her your policy
She
number.
asked for my policy number. I gave it to her.
You mean you didn't say, why do you want my policy number?
No. I didn't question it at all.
Just a second. Somebody says to you, can I have the name of your insurance carrier and your policy number, and you don't question her?
I did not.
Okay. Not believe. You know, it used to be a game. What was that called? When you gave an untruthful answer, you know, the duck quacked or something happened. I don't remember. How much did you pay for her car insurance?
$280, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, when was the next time you needed money?
The next time was in June, a month later. I was driving down the street with my girlfriend, and she had forgotten her phone. So instead of turning all the way around, I just backed down the street, and I had hit my neighbor's car. I panicked, and it was just a tiny dent. There was a little ding in my car, their car. I drove down the street, and I called Andrea. And again, I was just telling her, like, I don't know what to do. I just hit this car. It's my first accident. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do. And she told me to just relax and to go to Breakmasters across the street. And when I got there, I left my car there. When I came back, they'd given me a receipt. Andrea had called and paid for it already.
You understand this? You're old enough and smart enough to live in your own house, to drive the car, to get pregnant with somebody who just moved in with you. But you didn't know what to do when you hit somebody's car and took off. That you didn't know what to do with.
I panicked.
Panic. I'd be panicked at 24 years old if I needed somebody else to pay my car insurance and I was pregnant. That would give me panic. Then I would be panicked. Not when I backed up and dinged somebody's car. That wouldn't give me a canary. Being 24 years old and poor and single and pregnant would drive me through the roof.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, how much did it cost your friend Miss Gonzalez to take care of this ding in your car?
$500.
And did you need any more money from her?
No.
That was it?
That was it.
Is that how much money you gave her?
She asked for more money to help in between, so I loaned her another $200. Well, her dates are off. When she asked
Don't
to
tell me the dates. I have $780. If she's forgetting another $200 in cash, tell me about it, and then I'll ask her about it.
May 30th, she had asked for more money, and I loaned her $200.
You mean that was
day.
after the $280 for insurance?
Yes, and after the car repair, her dates are off. She came and asked me for the insurance, and the next day she came to my home to explain to me about the hit and run. It wasn't a month later. Her timeline's off.
Did you give her the $200 in cash?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember that?
No, because she never gave it to me.
$780, judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you very much.
Parties been excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
While on your watch, her dog died.
It dug its way out.
This pet sitter blames the pet.
They dig out of her yard all the time.
Hey, something's wrong with you.
Judge Judy.
It's sad to be a friend to someone and have them completely lie in court.
She paid for it on her own. I don't owe her anything.
I considered her a part of the family.
I was just venting to her because she's like a mother figure to me.
The Bank of Gonzalez is now shut.
I mean, I still care for her. I just don't want the drama. I don't want anything to do with it.
Who has the truck?
I do.
Because he stole the key.
I'm not going to give her the truck.
A fed-up ex puts his foot down.
I filed for a restraining order for harassment.
Tell me why.
Miss Smith was sending me derogatory and nasty emails.
Let me see them.
But will her persistence pay off?
So she said, I'm planning on taking you to Judge Judy for the truck. Let the entire country know what a dirtbag you are.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Christiana Smith is suing her ex-boyfriend, Robert Wilson, for unpaid rent, medical bills, the return of property, a false restraining order,
and threats.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 195 on the calendar in the matter of Smith versus Wilson.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Smith, I've read your complaint very carefully. It appears that you and Mr. Wilson were a couple. You moved with him from Oklahoma to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Correct.
And he promised you the moon, that he would take care of you, that he would provide you with health insurance, that you were going to remain a couple. And after you arrived in Las Vegas, the situation changed, so you left. Are you still in Las Vegas?
No, I went back to Oklahoma.
And it is your claim that you believe Mr. Wilson owes you for all the broken promises that he made, that he would provide you with insurance because you got sick, you went to the hospital, and now you have hospital bills, and that he kept some of your property, and for filing a false police report because he says that you were stalking him. So let's start out with the things that are simple. What month and year did you move from Oklahoma to Las Vegas?
June 2017.
And when did you move back to Oklahoma?
July 2018.
And at what time did Mr. Wilson leave the apartment where you two were living together?
June 3rd.
Of 2018?
Correct.
And what items do you claim that he took from the apartment that belonged to you when he left?
So on June 3rd, he removed my truck key.
A key to a truck?
My truck key.
Just a second. Who has the truck?
I do.
Because he stole the key.
And, Your Honor?
And you have the key?
Yes, ma'am.
In whose name is the truck?
It is in both our names.
I'm the main signer.
He has the truck, he has the key. What else does he have that belongs to you?
A month later, he removed 2 motorcycle helmets, female motorcycle helmets.
And they belonged to you?
I'm female.
What?
I'm female, he's not.
No, that's not my question.
Yes.
I said, did they belong to you? Did
Yes,
you have a
they're
motorcycle? Did you have a motorcycle?
We had a motorcycle.
The two of you?
No, ma'am.
Was it a motorcycle that the two of you rode together? One
Yes.
motorcycle?
Yes.
Who has the motorcycle?
I sold it in April.
You had it?
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume, since it's not the subject of this, you owned it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took the helmets that went with it?
Correct.
Do you have a motorcycle?
No.
What else are we here for?
Neither does he.
Key and 2 helmets. Forget it. Next.
He also removed a tent that I bought.
A tent?
$100 tent out of our storage.
Next.
Rent for 1 month for the apartment we were staying in. Since he left, he had a key, he had access, and part of his belongings in our apartment.
What did you do with his belongings?
What could I do? I left them there.
Okay. Now, any property that you've just mentioned, the key to the truck that he has that's not before me, the motorcycle helmets that you have zero use for because you have no motorcycle, a tent that cost $100, and now we're at rent, and you're not claiming that he was there, you're claiming his things were there, and you left in July, according to you, just left his things there when you left in July.
No,
he wasn't
ma'am.
living there.
I was still there until basically I got evicted, and his name was on there too.
You got evicted? Just a second. Pay attention. You got evicted for what?
For non-payment of rent because I got really ill.
Just a second. So if you didn't pay rent, what are you asking for rent for?
I did pay rent for over a month.
Okay. Now, you have to tell me why you filed an order of protection against Ms. Smith, because part of her lawsuit, the only part that's left here, is for filing a false restraining order against her.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to tell me why you filed a protective order against her and what happened to it.
I filed for a restraining order for harassment because Ms. Smith was sending me all kinds of derogatory and nasty emails.
Let me see them. Mr. Wilson, while I'm taking a look at those things, I want you to tell me, what is your intention with this truck where her name is on the loan?
Right now, I'm looking into refinancing it or possibly trading it in on another vehicle.
Well,
so she can be removed from it.
You've had the truck now since June.
Yes, ma'am.
June, July, August. We're now at the end of September. And if I were to call the finance company, would they tell me you're up to date in your payments?
Yes, ma'am.
Then there is no reason why you can't refinance this in your own name to get it out of her name. She should not have to have this on her head that you're driving around in a truck and she has to worry about you insuring it and making payments on it.
Correct.
Well, when are you going to do that, sir? Not looking into it. You've had 4 months to look into it.
Well, been working on rebuilding my credit. The reason why she was on there, and I also have a Facebook post where she acknowledges that she co-signed for me.
I don't care. I'm not.
And the dealership.
All I'm saying to you, sir, is that you've had 4 months to look into it.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you have lousy credit, give her the truck.
I'm not going to give her the truck.
Listen to me carefully, sir. There is no reason for you not being together with her to put her credit in any jeopardy because how old are you?
53.
Well, if you're 53 and didn't have reasonable enough credit to buy a truck on your own, which is what you told me just now, because you needed her to co-sign for you so that you could get credit, why in the world would she want to rely on you to make payments on the truck? Because if you have lousy credit, that means that you didn't pay certain bills on time or at all, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when are you going to do that, sir?
As soon as I get home, I'll go to my bank and see about refinancing it.
Why haven't you done that in the last 4 months?
That's where I just been too busy doing other things.
Like what?
Moving on with my life.
Ma'am?
Shh. Okay, so she said, I'm planning on taking you to Judge Judy for the truck. Let the entire country know what a dirtbag you are. Well, there you go. Okay. Now, Mr. Wilson, you wrote to her, I need to be taken off the paperwork over there.
Yes, ma'am, off the apartment.
Why would you want to be taken off the paperwork, sir?
So I would not be responsible for the
for the lease.
Well, we were living in an extended stay apartment. And they
just a sec. You understand why I'm laughing?
Yeah.
You understand why I'm laughing? You understand why they're all laughing? That you understand right away. You wanted to be taken off from the lease.
Yes, ma'am.
But not from a truck loan. That didn't understand for 4 months because you were busy getting on with your life. And that's what she wrote to you that you claim formed the basis of your application for a protective order.
No, ma'am, I have more.
Okay. I'd like to see him because none of that impresses me.
I've got this social media post that she sent to my family members.
May I see it, please?
And then also she...
Just a second. Just a second. Not an also. You know, I'm a slow learner. I can only do one thing at a time. Oh, so she posted this thing. You know, he hides money, check is always less than expected. He grows facial hair. He grows cold and distant. He stops wanting to do things together. These are helpful hints so you'll know when he wants to move on. The only thing here is receiving emails from friends that he is sending them new pictures with the offending picture enclosed in front of a full-length mirror.
He did.
What is that?
He did.
That's false.
That is not false. That
show
is
me.
true.
Show me.
That was
show me.
That was when we first started dating.
Just a second. So that's when you first started dating before you moved from Oklahoma to Nevada, and then you moved from Oklahoma to Nevada with him.
It was a lady from North Carolina.
Next. What's
and then,
next?
After she moved to Oklahoma.
Just a second. All I want to know is what was the next reason? So far, I'm unimpressed with any of these.
For the restraining order?
Correct.
When she moved back to Oklahoma, she has a rideshare rental car, and she has to bring back to Vegas every so often to have it inspected. She would drive through my apartment complex and stalk me, take pictures of my truck saying, oh, yeah, you still live here and things like that.
Show me.
No,
this is a burden.
I don't think I brought that with me, ma'am.
Oh, okay, well, that's your burden. And I assume that the application for a protective order was denied.
Yes, it was.
Of course it was denied. How do I know that? Do you think that I'm a soothsayer? Miss Smith, what I'm going to do is, I believe that he had no right to file a protective order based upon this stuff that he showed me, which is really the two of you fighting over the payments he made on the truck. He wants to be off the lease, but he doesn't see the equation between your name being on a truck loan, and you have good credit, and his name being on a lease, and he's got lousy credit. So he doesn't... Something that wasn't registering to him. And I think that the filing of the restraining order based upon this nonsense was absolutely outrageous. I'm awarding you $500 for filing a false restraining order. We're done. We're done.
May I say one more thing? He literally left me dying on the bathroom floor.
We're done. Listen to me.
Okay.
You're sick. He's not responsible for your sickness.
He promised me insurance and marriage.
We're done.
Why is that excuse? May step out.
This guy basically lied to me financially.
Miss Smith is a woman scorned.
Emotionally and physically ruined me.
And What's funny is...
And just warning to other women.
She's so upset about me leaving and all that.
Don't take people's word. Don't trust them. Don't believe them.
She's engaged to the guy she's living with now that she keeps running back to in Oklahoma.
I hope I never hear or see from him again.
You know, I've been down. I've been over it. I moved on. I'm much happier now.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davis versus Welch. Step forward.
Angel Davis is suing her son, Carathis Welch, and his ex-wife, Vanessa, for a loan to pay off credit card debt.
Miss Davis, this young man is your son, and the lady with him is his ex-wife. Are you currently divorced? It is your claim that you made a loan to your son sometime after the initiation of divorce proceedings when he was going through some financial difficulty, and the loan was supposedly used to pay off credit cards.
Yes.
And you never had a discussion with your former daughter-in-law about it, but it is your claim that since she also incurred those credit card debts, she should be responsible for this loan.
Correct.
Right. Well, she's not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't care what your impression was. She says that the $2,800 she gave you for a lawyer she gave you.
Right.
She says that months later she gave you another $4,800. Did she?
Angel Davis says her son, Carathis Welch, and ex-wife Vanessa owe for a loan to pay off their credit card debt.
I want you to tell me in what month and year you allege that your son asked you for money.
The first time he asked me, he retained a lawyer, and I gave him that money. He's my only child.
When? Month and year?
That was in March.
Of last year?
Of 2017.
And how much did you give him?
$2,800.
And was that the first time you had given him any money?
Other than small loans, that was substantial.
You have children together?
Yes.
How many?
One.
How old?
3 years. Well, she's 4 tomorrow.
You share custody?
Yes.
And is that working out okay?
Yes.
Great. Like to hear it. So that was in March of 2017. When was the next time your son asked you for money? Because that, you say you gave him.
In May, he asked for a loan.
In May, after he had retained a lawyer?
Correct.
Tell me where you were when he asked you for a loan.
I was at home and he called me.
Tell me what the conversation was.
He called and said, Mom, I don't know how I did it. I didn't make my house payment. I can't make it this month if you can loan me some money. Payment, I believe, is almost $1,000.
Well, how much money did you loan him?
$689.
Where did you get that figure from?
I saw it on the check. I didn't even remember. I just knew it was the first loan.
Just a second. So you gave him $689.
Correct.
To make a house payment.
It was toward his house payment. He was short.
And when was the next time?
Approximately 2 weeks later, he called me and asked, he said, Mom, I can't pay these bills. I'm behind. It's stressing me out. Commuting for the baby, work. I need some help. I loaned him $4,800 to pay his credit card so he wouldn't have that monthly.
And you did that by check?
Yes, I did.
Made payable to him?
Yes, I did.
And that was in what month?
That was in June, but if I can say something, Your Honor, when I wrote the check, I was so stressed out about writing such a big check, I wrote the wrong month on it. But I do have the bank statements to show that it was the same time I wrote the check, in June.
What date does it have on it?
April 2017.
I'm ready.
I did go to my mom and asked her for help. She did help me with the attorney, but I asked her for help. It wasn't, I wasn't in the impression I was going to be paying her back.
Well, that's the $2,800. She says that,
Yes.
Not doing it for me.
Okay.
You know that.
I know.
Good. I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know.
I wasn't under the impression that I was paying her back.
I don't care what your impression was. She says that the $2,800 she gave you for a lawyer she gave you.
Right.
She says that months later she gave you another $4,800. Did she?
Yes.
When?
I believe that was in June.
In what month did you and your wife separate?
In March of 2017.
And this check was written out in April.
The original, it wasn't written. I just put the wrong date.
Now I'd like to see that.
Okay.
You can sit down. You have nothing to do with this case. What this suggests to me is the same day that you wrote a check out or the check was cashed on June 19th, you transferred $4,500 from your savings account into your checking account.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct. I think I was traumatized from writing the check. I put the wrong month.
You also wrote the wrong amount in the...
Yes.
How many children do you have, Miss Davis?
That's my only child.
Do you see your grandchild?
I do see my grandchild.
It's a girl?
It's a girl, yes it is.
You see her when she's both with her mother and her father?
Now I do, both. I don't see him as much as I do the wife.
So my question is, before you started a proceeding against your son, what efforts did you make to try to resolve this family situation?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So what did you do?
I called the Judge Judy show because I was watching it.
Why'd you call me instead of going to small claims court?
I was watching TV and I said, I'm going to file a case.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Angel Davis says her son, Carathis Welch, and ex-wife Vanessa owe for a loan to pay off their credit card debt.
What efforts did you make to try to resolve this family situation?
I have made efforts. I talked to my son about the loan because in January, when he got his income tax, he said, Mom, I'm going to give you something. I said, okay, whatever he gives me, I'm good. And he didn't.
We're getting a little muddy here.
Yeah, it is.
No, we're getting a little muddy here. I'm going to tell you why. You wrote this check out, according to you, in June.
Correct.
And he was supposed to pay you from his tax returns?
Yes, there was going to be a delay I knew in getting the payment.
So you wrote this in June of 2017, and you were expecting payment in, let's say, January or February of 2018.
Just payment, correct. Some payments, money.
Well, when you didn't get any payment in January, February, or March of 2018, tell me about the conversations that you had with your son.
I talked to my son. I said, it's bothering me that you haven't paid me. He said, I'm going to start paying you, Mom. If you give me your account number, I'll start where it'll come straight to your account. I said, I'm not doing that, but you can write me a check, just like I wrote you a check, and start paying me. He said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it, Mom. So I said, okay. Then a couple months later, still nothing. And then in September, when I said I asked my son for money again, I said, it's bothering me that you haven't paid me, and I need you
Anything?
Well, no, I got $100 from him, and that was it. He said, Mom, I got my bills straight, I redid everything, I can start paying you now. Everything's good now. And he didn't. And that's when I was watching TV, and I said, I'm going to file a case.
So what did you do?
I called Judge Judy show because I was watching it.
Why'd you call me instead of going to small claims court?
Well, I said, if you can do it, I said, let me try this first. And then I filed the case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Judy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I think you should go to your local small claims court.
I
think that's what you should do if you want to sue your son. I think that you should go to small claims court. I'm going to let you do that.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
We're done. Thank you.
All right, excuse me. Step out.